openers.
It's the fact that this story dropped the same day that we had building story happen throughout the day today with the SNAP benefit legislation. And that topic is just loosely related. Not that we have to go too deep into it.
Sure.
But they're proposing the legislation for the SNAP benefits, which, food stamps, welfare for food.
Yeah.
That they remove soda and candy from the eligible products you can purchase from SNAP benefits.
Okay.
And there was a group of accounts, like big mega accounts, that similarly to what we had seen. Oh, I guess I can pull it up on my end. I apologize.
I wasn't sure if you had it up. I switched it over to you, but yeah, if you want to pull it up real quick, go ahead.
Yeah, let me share this. But basically what you're going to see on the screen is from Orrin McIntyre. But there was a bunch of accounts together that linked up and opposed this. And you can see they're all very similar to each other from this tweet. I'll kind of zoom out a little bit. This is from Battle Beagle, who actually is a massive account that follows me. He's worth the follow. Puts a lot of stuff out there. I'm not sure if he's in the CN community, but he's definitely on the right. But they had quoted Eric Daughtry, which he actually looks like he deleted the tweet. But they all have the same thing, right? They all have the same thing, talking about how, we should be against the fact they want to block soda purchases. Saying this is ridiculous government overreach. Other people decide for themselves. And then you have this over here, right? This is an overextension of government power and a violation of personal choice. Pretty much like very similar tweets from these people, right? And it was like Clown World, Eric Daughtry, Ian Miles Chong. And what people pointed out was it seemed like the same kind of trend we saw with the phase 1 binders for the Epstein files. A lot of accounts together in conjunction posted the exact same time, all wanting to be against this specific thing or for the specific thing, right? Most transparent administration ever. And I kind of see it. I see it from a few other accounts as well, too, which is odd, right? Because this is kind of one of those conservative offensive stances, right? Like as a conservative, you think that if there's a welfare program, it should be to help people, not just, proliferate their life so they can just live as if nothing's going on, but more so that it should have a very strict and necessary kind of usage. It should be, in my opinion, if the only thing it should be used for is like rice and chicken. Like it can't even, or beans, like you can't even get anything else with it. Like nothing else is even allowed, and bottled water maybe.
Yeah, definitely that.
but just for like necessities, it shouldn't be able to be used for like random groceries or whatever you want to buy at the store. Just like the basic stuff that's very inexpensive for us to reproduce. And it just seems that there's again a push. Now, the other thing that went with this is apparently Nick Sortor had shared this too, but he believes in this first post here that people are being paid, influencers are being paid upwards of $1,000 per post to lobby against the SNAP soda ban, which is crazy, but speaks to, again, money being in politics is not a good mixture. You're only going to get paid sentiment, not the organic thought. But what also I had seen, which I don't have it on screen now, I wish I did, but I had saw earlier, and I believe it's from Nick Sortor as well, but fact check me if I'm wrong. But I believe Coca-Cola in particular, I don't think it was all pop. I think it was Coca-Cola in particular. 25% of their revenue in the States comes from SNAP.
Dang.
25% of all of Coca-Cola's like revenue comes from these benefits. So that is a major hit to the Coca-Cola brand. If all of a sudden 25% of the people whose means to buy you are gone, wiped out instantly. It's a quarter of your entire business here in America just gone. Now, it is a global company, so I'm sure that percentage gets watered down when you look at it from a global, but it's still a massive hit here in the States.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's obviously hand in hand with those kind of facts. It's like, well, no wonder they're paying $1,000 per post to people like Ian Miles Strong and those who have bigger accounts who literally post whatever the F they would like to because the engagement farm over anything else. But that's why you're seeing it from like Clown World and Daughtry and Ian Miles Strong, those guys who just post news things and then they feign that they have real possessions because in all reality, they're just money whores and they grift all the time, right? So whoever pays the highest penny, they're like, yeah, that's my belief now. $1,000 per post, you said? Yeah, definitely. And so, yeah, these combined is like, these are, it's not good that we're getting the paid influence, but it's also good that we're getting people like Sortor calling it out because that's a pro, right? We want SNAP benefits to not pay for pop. That's not a net good. If people who are on welfare, what they're buying with the majority of the time is like candy and soda. that's not inducive to a person getting back on their feet, right?
Right. Keeping
So,
people alive,
yeah,
because they're living off of the government and other people essentially. It's one thing, it's one thing you're entitled to spend your own money that you went and worked for, or that you inherited from somebody that worked hard or whatever,
right,
on Twinkies and soda pop and whiskey, right, or whatever. Which I don't know if you can buy. I don't think you can buy alcohol on Snap, but
right,
for it's one thing if you're well off or well enough to go and buy the stuff that you want to eat, but whenever other people are feeding you, you need to take the essentials. You know what I mean? You need to
right,
get white rice, or uncooked, or not uncooked, but like big bags of rice that you have to cook. Not the flavored packs that cost $1 a piece or $1.25 a piece now. You know,
right.
spices should be allowed. Like you said, bottled water, potatoes, meat, that type of stuff.
Yeah,
Things that allow you to live and not be eating the
straight trash.
the slimy oatmeal from the Matrix or whatever. It's got everything the body needs. It's got all the
Right.
nutrients and vitamins that the body needs, but it's slimy oatmeal. We're not saying that. But at least you're not out there eating packs of Starburst and drinking. You shouldn't be out there, buying Red Bulls and eating packs of Starburst off of everybody else's stuff. While meanwhile, we're trying to, mitigate that type of experience.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Well, the only reason I
Elmo
say,
says, "What's wrong with tap water?" I don't like tap water myself. I always drink. Well, I got a reverse osmosis filter put on the sink that I
oh, word.
drink the water from. But
No, I like tap water. I just think if you look at certain, depending on certain areas, may have differences in their access to clean water. Right? So probably for people who are in Flint, Michigan, who are on this for a good reason, right? Whether you agree with the welfare system or not, it's probably beneficial that they have ability to buy bottled water if the only way they can buy groceries with SNAP benefits. And the only reason I actually truly care about the welfare system at all is not because like for the parents who are on it, but also a lot of times what you find is these really poor homes are birthing a lot of children. Um, and it's not to say it's hand in hand. You have a lot of kids who be poor, but there's a common trend with poor family groups tend to have more children. And so I think about like all the kids involved too, who are kind of victim to what their parents' choices are. And so that's also part of the reason why I'm pro eliminating pop and candy is because now you can't just give the kids straight garbage.
right,
But it also should be able to at least help provide
we're
for
not
those
fast
children.
tracking. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but just to your point, you're not fast tracking kids via the SNAP program to diabetes at a young age and obesity.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
You can at least encourage healthy eating habits in the process, which you know they want to talk about rights and stuff, but that gets conflated to I got the right to buy whatever with my money. It's like, well, it's actually not your money. It was given to you.
Right,
I did a bunch of work for this. You mean you sat on the phone and filled out paperwork and got into a program? That's
right.
not work. I worked yesterday. Actually, I really did. I went out and worked physically with my buddy yesterday. Tore down some fence and put some new posts in and stuff. It felt good to be out in the sun. But that money you can go buy what you go do that. You can buy whatever you want to with that one. But uh,
Right. Yeah, and I just think ultimately, it all of this kind of points to, might be good that we got our guy in at the overall level. But I think the economy has some real groundwork to make up from, not only
yeah,
just in the short term, but for long term sustainability as well. Um, I think overall, just if you were, how unfortunately how most wars are, right? You just eliminate a lot of people, and now there's a lot of jobs. Like a lot of people can now kind of step in. You see this kind of
yeah,
overgrowth, and not
yeah,
just in the loss of life, but also, a lot of things need repaired, refunded, remade in terms of warfare. So there's just a lot of business getting moving. So money will flow from the very rich because they're looking to repair or replace a lot of assets. It flows back downwards. It's a very, that's why wartime is generally explosively for economically. But if we were ever to get even a portion of the deportations that we should be getting, that's tens of millions of people who are just no longer, wearing down the system as well. And I think if you wanted a very practical way of getting stress off of the economic system, it would be by removing those who shouldn't be here in the first place.
Yeah, true that. So, with that, I think we should probably just go ahead and wrap up there. What do you think?